All right, back at it. Sarnia Sting warming up there on the ice right now, and welcome back, Lee Bazeley. How you doing?
Doing great. How you been?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little excited. We're leaving tonight to go on a cruise for about a week. So
nice.
But I'm happy to be here with the Sarnia Sting as they get ready to take on Saginaw here tonight. Of course, this is a team that is, well, they're doing pretty darn good right now.
Most definitely they are. They've won like 4 out of their last 5, and all their wins have been
I think they're more than that. I thought they were on like a 10-game winning streak.
No, they just lost a couple of games ago against London.
So they were doing, okay, yeah. All right. Well, what's going to happen here tonight? This makes it tough to talk about. The Sarnia Sting have obviously started off like a winning racehorse, and now they've pivoted the other way, and it seems that they've been struggling out there. Although, while the wins haven't come, I feel like the last few games that we've played, like Oshawa, etc. I know you want to talk about the win we had against Barrie Colts. That was 7-6, right?
That was an exciting game for sure.
It really was an exciting game. What have you been seeing happening out there with our Sarnia Sting since Barrie Colts?
I see they've been trying some new things. They're getting a little bit more it kind of like almost seems like they're changing up the game plan a little bit. They're taking more shots out there. They've had some new guys out there on the power play that seem to have been working out really well, like James Barr, for example.
Yeah.
They put him on the power play, and he's really been stepping up his game. They've gave him the opportunity, and he's really picked up the ball and ran with it. I've been really impressed with what I've been seeing with him out there, especially on the power play. Like, I haven't been impressed with the Sarnia Sting power play for quite some time. It's still not the best out there, but with the changes they've been making, like, I always make sure I take a note of how many shots they have before the power play starts, just to see how many they get during the power play. And there's so many times where it happens to be they get 1 shot, sometimes less than that. Now they're getting it, almost on average, they're getting 3-4 shots off every power play, and this is what I want to see from them. This is the kind of stuff that I've been waiting to see from the Sarnia Sting power play. You can't score power play goals if you don't take power play shots.
Right, fair enough. See, like, he's not even on the broadcast. Does he realize that that's your name up there?
I don't know.
Yet he's still got to come by and try to make it be known that he's here. I'm not even going to say his name.
I've still got the video of you and him when you interviewed him, and you mentioned that I was doing pretty good last year. And he's like, Lee Bazeley, I will take you out.
Right.
Well, you know what? You're standing right in front of me. Take your shot, big guy.
Okay, as he walks away.
He's
got a Kairu jersey on there. We were actually upstairs talking about that. Kairu, I don't know if you heard about this interview that he was in recently.
No.
Coming off the St. Louis fans were not happy with Kairu. They were booing him off the ice. And then he got pretty emotional anyway, that's a whole other thing to talk about. Thank you, Jay Beckham, for making your presence known. And he won't be joining us tonight. It's all about Lee now.
But we can smell him from here.
I thought about it until a moment ago. Sarnia Sting have played a decent, for their level of play. I mean, we could always go back to the beginning of the season and say how well they did there, but that's Hakuna Matata. That's over. That's in the past, right? And where we are standing at right now is what really counts. It's starting to get closer and closer to whether or not these teams are going to make the playoffs, what that's going to look like. And, the conversations that I've had with Dylan Sika and Al Letang, they're very confident in this team. They're really impressed with what they've seen. Would they like to see more wins? Of course, that's something. But is it to the point now where we used to call it a young team? Now do we call this a rebuild team? Is that what we're calling it now? Or is this still a team that is very, very capable and pushing all the way through to at least make the playoffs?
Anything can happen when they're making. They could most definitely make the playoffs, because what they're doing out there, it's working to a degree. It's just, I don't want to bring the word luck into it, but they're doing well out there. They've just been having some bad luck. They've been having some bad, like a lot of the mistakes.
I don't think anybody would argue that.
I think a lot of the mistakes that we were talking about weeks ago, the bad passing and, the level of aggression and the amount of shots, we can't really say those arguments anymore, because even though they might not be exactly where we want to be, we've been seeing improvements in those areas. There's not as many bad passes into the skates. There are not as many bad long passes, like they're getting I remember seeing, like, I don't know how many passes where they try to do a long pass across ice, try to move it up the rink, and it's getting intercepted every time. I'm not seeing that. I mean, it's still happening, but it's not happening nearly as much. So it feels like they've been putting the work in. They've corrected those mistakes. They're kind of trying to right the ship back in the right direction. And if this momentum keeps swinging back this way, we're going to start seeing those wins coming. We're going to start seeing, us moving more towards
I think so.
the playoffs at the end of the season, because this is still a very, very good Sarnia Sting team, even though it is, like we said, in that rebuild year, and we have to say that it is a rebuilding year after what we lost from one season to the next.
Kai Schwint has come in here, though, and he showed up the last couple of games as well, as was expected when he came along. I think the defense has gotten a little bit better this year compared to, we used to say it didn't matter what year you picked, it was like the defense of the Sarnia Sting was just not there. I think we're seeing that change. We're seeing that there's still a ways to go, but I think that we saw that last year for sure. But talking about now, I think that has tightened up. I think when we do get pulled into I kind of felt like we were getting pulled into the corner boards a little more than I would have liked to see them. But when that happens, it seems like we're winning more in the boards than we were before. Not that I like to see us there, but for sure. What the struggle is going to be a big one tonight for the Sarnia Sting is, hey, how you doing, guys? How you doing, Dad? What I think we're going to really have to see from the Sarnia Sting tonight is Lee Cunningham was sharing with me that Saginaw is like one of the number ones for penalty kills, right? So we're going to have to really stay out of the penalty box here. I saw a little bit more of that too. They're strong on the power plays. So Saginaw's got a lot that they're bringing here tonight. And, they were a team that hasn't always been at the top of their game over the past few seasons. And right now, they're really showing up well. So Sarnia Sting are just going to have to tighten the skates up and dig in hard.
I think Saginaw, they're kind of doing with their team what Sarnia Sting did last year. They're making a run at it. They're making some big trades. They're making some moves within the organization, getting some good players on board to help make them push that. And I think a big part of that is the Memorial Cup is there this year.
Oh, yeah.
So they want to take a shot at that.
A lot of excitement around Saginaw.
So they don't want to just show up to that. They want to be contenders in that. And from the way they're playing, the moves they're making, the way things are coming together for the Saginaw Spirit, there's no denying that they could easily be contenders for that Memorial Cup when it takes place later on in the year.
Yeah, for sure. Right down to an outdoor arena that's happening out there too, right? So definitely,
been there,
as
done that.
any team would want to be, as we would if we were the Sarnia Sting, we would be so super excited. I think, the confidence issue obviously comes into play here with the Sarnia Sting right now because of the number of games that they've been losing, right? And again, talking to Dylan and a few others upstairs, it's like, how do you, when you're, and I know they're young fellas, right? But the expectation is to win, so we know what it's like as adults when you're here we go again, right? Are we gonna, how do these young folks overcome that confidence barrier, if you will? What do you think? What kind of advice do you think you would tell these young boys, if you will, young men, just move forward? That's after so many wins. That's hard to fathom or believe, I guess. Belief level has to get up there.
I think one of the biggest factors that's going to play into that is going to be the veterans helping the young guys along.
Right.
You got to look to the guys who've been in the league for a long time. Guys like Cooper Wade, the captain of the team. He's going to be
great leader.
That leader that's going to have to kind of take the reins on that and kind of help guide these guys through that. Make them know that, bad games are going to happen, mistakes are going to happen. You got to move past that. You got to push past that. And with the experience that they have, both with the veterans on the team and the coaching staff, they got to be the ones that got to kind of bring those younger guys along, show them, that it's not a big deal if bad things happen, that we move past it. We're always looking forward to that next game. You're always focused on what's to come rather than what's behind you. What's behind you doesn't matter anymore. It's always about what's to come. And that's kind of like everyone's got their own way of dealing with it, but I think it's up to the leadership on this team, both in the locker room and behind the bench,
for sure,
to kind of make the younger guys aware that it is possible. That's, you got to figure out your own way how to deal with that, but it's something that you got to deal with and just move past.
Right, for sure. How you doing, man? Good to see you. The fans obviously holding on to the belief here with the Sarnia Sting. We're often north of 3,500 people here in the arena. I know we're probably around that, 3,500. Barry Wright asked that to Easton Wainwright of the support of the fans. It certainly made a huge difference as well. So that's nice when the arena gets loud and the players hear that. That's certainly a big help as well. All right, we're just a few minutes away here. We're going to let Lee go so he can get down to his seat and enjoy the game, and then come back and tell us what he thought he saw out there. We hope you'll take some time to share in the comments what your thoughts are on the Sarnia Sting, and share this around for others to enjoy. So we'll be back. We're giving Jay the night off. And he just gave me one more reason why I said fine. I do want to give a shout out real quick to Linda Waller, who is a lady that I've known for many, many years. Her and her husband Mel are here tonight with her daughter Trish and family. And I have not seen her in probably 20 years, and she stopped by here to say hello. So Linda, if you're watching, thank you so much for the big hug, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. And to all of you out there, we'll be back here at the end of the first period. Of course, there will be post-game press conference later. But right now, let's go to Sarnia Sting Hockey. Live from the concourse, I'm David Burrows, and this is my friend Lee Bazeley. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Go Sting, go!